Boys, it finally happened. Cristiano Ronaldo reported he is in Manchester. He is ready for preseason training.
Oh gosh, Ten Hag better have that quinoa ready for dessert.
This is Red Card Radio. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're listening from. Thanks for tuning in. Red Card Radio is a weekly look at the Premier League from three friends who support different clubs, and the gang is back together, boys. My name is James. I support Arsenal. That's Brad. He tonight is finally supporting Chelsea FC. And then down below, that is Sean. He supports Tottenham Hotspurs. Gentlemen, good evening. Hello. How are we doing? What's up?
Good. What's going on?
Nah, just chilling, man. Just thought about getting the boys together, talk about some footy. What you think about that? Is it a good idea?
Do you guys
It's not
enjoy
after
your
midnight yet. We got to wait till midnight.
Oh, okay.
Did you guys enjoy your week off last week?
Oh, wait, we didn't have a week off, Sean.
Yeah, sure. We still had a podcast, bro.
Y'all told me the podcast was off last week.
Nah, man. We were lying to you. We did it without you.
Wow.
We told everybody last week that you were on vacation. We were like, oh, we thought Sean should have a week off, blah, 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 blah.
I see what's going on here. They told me no pod this week, don't worry about it. And then went ahead and recorded anyway. I see what's going on.
Yeah. It didn't feel right. That's why we told you there's a podcast tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate it. I'm glad to be back.
It was a test run to see if Brad just couldn't carry it.
I couldn't.
Like I tried to throw it to him. Well, I tried to throw it to you. I was confused. I threw it to you for the mild inconvenience last week, and it was just crickets. So we just had to move on. But speaking of that, if you're new here, we would really appreciate if you hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube. Press the bell notification button on YouTube. Leave us a comment. Drop us a 5-star. All that stuff. All those things really help us. We would love to hear from you guys. And we don't want anything to happen in your life, any kind of confusion or inconvenience, right, Sean?
No, you probably are going to want to like, subscribe, rate, review 5-star. Or what might happen to you is you might run a podcast where the two other people tell you that there's no podcast, and then do a podcast. So you don't want that to be mildly inconvenient in your life. Well, so you might want to like, subscribe, rate, and review 5-star.
You say that, and you remind me of the fact that both of you guys called me out because your Twitter. Your bios on Twitter both say co-host of Red Card Radio, and mine.
That's true.
Mine just says host of Red Card Radio. So,
yeah, that is true. That is true.
Man, who's so good looking? I don't know what's going on. But yeah, if you could do that, if you're new here, this is kind of what you get here. We would really appreciate you to stick around and share it with a friend, share it with a brother or your mother. Those things really help us out. And what we've got on the docket tonight. So a couple weeks ago, well, I guess all summer, we've been kind of picking up a couple teams here and there, talking about where we thought they would finish. Transfers, well, not where they would finish. Transfers we think they should make, where their squad kind of stood. And we've been doing this. We did all the big six. We did Leicester, West Ham, Newcastle, Everton, some of the perennial big clubs in England, things like that. This week, we talked about doing the teams that just were recently promoting: Nottingham Forest, Fulham, and Bournemouth. But we're changing gears a little bit. We're going to do something a little bit different tonight because, guys, we are 10 days away from the Premier League starting, which means we got to start putting some things on paper, if you catch my drift.
Uh-oh.
Sheets, if you will.
Some sheets, maybe. Right, Sean?
Not just paper. Sheets.
Man, and would we want to, lie, or would that be we don't want to put any lies on these paper, right? What we want these sheets.
Integrity.
Ooh, sheets. Ooh. What should we call those, man? Brad, you got any ideas?
The papers of trust and respect.
That's horrible. That's trash. What a bad name. I'm gonna let Sean name them.
The note cards of truthfulness.
Okay, that's terrible. Go back to the sheets of integrity. We're gonna steal that.
Sheets of integrity are back.
And this year we promise not to lose them.
Maybe. Yeah.
That was good, Sean. So
Thanks.
this week, we are going to talk some friendly results first. There was some football that was played that we need to talk about, especially, Spurs won a trophy. Arsenal and Chelsea played. So these are all things that we need to talk about as we like to do. But of course, before we get into all that, we are going to hit some comments from last week. Now, we're going to jump in. Jimmy here had a comment. So we were talking last week about Andy Carroll and transfers and things like that, and he corrected us because we were wrong. We said that Brendan Rodgers signed Andy Carroll, but it was actually Kenny Dalglish. Who said Brendan Rodgers didn't sign Andy Carroll. It was Kenny Dalglish. He was the first signing in the transition from Hodgson to King Kenny. Obviously, a huge mistake. I definitely remember thinking, what the hell are we doing? But in Kenny's defense at the time, Carroll was playing pretty well, including a very recently scoring 2 or 3 against us in our most recent fixture. He was playing for Newcastle at the time. Andy Carroll was. Also, to answer the question, I'm pretty sure there was no sporting director until Fenway Sports Group bought or joined the ownership situation at Liverpool. And he doesn't think that it started until sometime in the Brendan Rodgers era, but he doesn't fully remember. So appreciate the fact check, Jimmy, on when Andy Carroll was signed. That was such a weird transfer at the time because Chelsea left their so Chelsea had signed Fernando Torres from Liverpool, and it was in January. So it was such a weird, like you don't sell the best striker in the league in January, but Liverpool did to Chelsea. And I think it's safe saying that Fernando Torres was one of the best center forwards in the league at the time. He was certainly up there with Van Persie, Wayne Rooney at the time. And so he went to Liverpool, he went
Jermaine Defoe. I mean, you're just gonna leave out Tottenham's.
No.
I
was okay.
Intentionally wasn't talking about Tottenham's because
I guarantee you, Jermaine Defoe has more Premier League goals than Fernando Torres.
I guarantee you, Fernando Torres has more trophies than Defoe, and probably more goals.
I'm just going to quickly see who won the EPL. Okay. You should have come up with winners of the Golden Boot. So in 2010, 2011, it was Dimitar Berbatov. But not for Tottenham. It was for Manchester United. And then it was Van Persie in 11-12. And then it was Van Persie in 12-13. And then it was Luis Suarez. So just throwing that out there.
All right. So what was that kid's name? Something Defoe?
William Defoe. Jermaine Defoe.
Jermaine Defoe is one of the best strikers to ever play in the Premier League. I mean, he's
appearances, 162 goals.
I mean, he's definitely like one of the top 10, 15 strikers in the Premier League ever.
He didn't ever win the Golden Boot. Just throw that out there.
Well, he scored a lot of goals. Okay.
Wait, I just did Jermaine. I didn't do Defoe. Hold on.
All right, we're moving on.
Brad still hasn't calculated that I did that on the fact that Jermaine Defoe played his entire career in the Premier League and Fernando Torres didn't start or end there.
Yeah, well, he's going to have a lot more because Fernando Torres stopped scoring goals when he went to Chelsea because he had the number 9 shirt at Chelsea.
He still had 85 goals.
So
half the goals and half the games. So 162 to 85, but in less than half the games.
Yeah, but how many of those goals were scored for Liverpool is the better question. How many of those 85 were scored for Liverpool?
Probably 60, I'd imagine.
Just go.
He lifted the Champions League trophy.
Go to Fernando Torres' Wikipedia. It'll tell you. It'll be Liverpool games, parenthetical. That's the number of goals he scored.
I'm on the Premier League website, so that's a lot of work.
We're moving on because Brad doesn't know how to internet. So Jimmy had another comment. It was about Manchester United, and he says, "I'm curious if Erik ten Hag is going to be able to keep the locker room at Manchester United. I keep reading about him putting all kinds of rules on the players. First one he read was the no alcohol on match weeks, which basically means every week. Jimmy, he says he knows that it doesn't affect all the players, but it definitely could piss off some. He thinks the best thing United did in the offseason was to not renew Pogba. He just seemed like a completely toxic player for the club, and that Pogba was a wasted talent at United." Will chimed in, of course, because Will's got to defend the old lady, and he says it sucks that Pogba wasted 6 years of his prime in a dysfunctional club. So kind of defending Pogba a little bit there. But this is an interesting question about Eric Ten Hag. And we were kind of having this conversation a couple minutes ago that it seems, at least it seemed to me, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was a player's manager, that he was kind of his belief that he was going to get the best out of his players if he was friendly with them, if he loved them, if he wasn't super harsh on them, things like that. Now, I think if you compare that to not Cristiano Ronaldo, Jose Mourinho and Louis van Gaal, those guys are more, I don't want to say they're not authoritarian, but like they're going to ride your ass and expect a lot out of you at all times. And we certainly know that Mourinho is not afraid to call players out in public, to say, he was not performing, that's why he didn't play. If he performs better, then he'll play, things like that. So like, and I mean, it's widely reported that Van Gaal feels very vindicated now about like the situation that United were in, that he was warning about years ago. So I think it's going to be interesting because clearly the players didn't care about Ralf Rangnick at all. And like you could see that from like the way that they just didn't fight when they were on the pitch. They just didn't care. And we kept hearing stories, especially from like January onward, about how players were disgruntled and this, that, and the other. Maybe it all stemmed from Pogba. Who knows? I doubt it was all from Pogba though. So it seems that like their previous two managers just didn't have a hold on the club.
3.
Why do you say 3?
The manager for the last 6 months of the season was Cristiano Ronaldo. Let's be honest.
Dang.
If Cristiano Ronaldo was the manager for the last 6 months of the season, he would have stripped Harry Maguire of the captaincy. But because
taking it for himself,
because it was Ralf Rangnick and he had no power to do anything at that club. He even got yeeted from his consultancy position. Then
he stepped down, didn't he? After he took on like a different role, he stepped down once he took an international role.
He stepped down. Eric Ten Hag got in there. Eric Ten Hag got in there and said, "Get this guy out of here. Pay him what's left on his contract and get him out of here. I don't need his help," is what he said. So it will certainly be interesting. I mean, we've all seen those videos of Ten Hag just like yelling at his players in the middle of matches and calling them stupid and things like that. Or at least I have. You should look them up. They're pretty funny. So
yeah, but like I'm curious to Jimmy, and I'll ask this to Jimmy. He says his first statement, I'm curious if Eric Ten Hag is going to be able to keep the locker room. Why would you want to keep the locker room? The locker room's been awful for 10 years.
So
like, why would you want to keep that? Why wouldn't you just fully flip the roster and then start over?
So that's probably the plan, but that's hard to do, especially in a COVID economy.
It takes a long time.
Yeah, it does. It's going to take 3 or 4 years to like fully flip. But like, so the people there like need to know either you're staying or you're going, because one of the two is happening. And if you're staying, it's under these circumstances. If you don't want to do this, that's fine. We'll ship you out and find somebody that will. No problem.
True, and I think that's what Jimmy's getting to.
Well, yeah, that's the question.
That's what I mean by like, why would you want to keep that lock? He said his term was keep the locker room. You don't want to keep that locker room. Fuck that locker room. Sorry, but fuck that. United doesn't want to keep that locker room. That's why they got Ten Hag in there. They don't want to finish 6th again.
Hey, AJ's, I don't think we dropped a single F-bomb last week. 5 minutes in.
You dropped like 3 a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
I was surprised.
I'm pretty sure I cursed last week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but it was not in the first 3 minutes in. But so here's the difference. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I think the question Jimmy is asking is Ten Hag going to have time to flip that locker room, or are all of the players going to refold and United's not going to be okay with losing? Because like Ten Hag not only has to flip the locker room, he still has to keep winning.
But the problem is like United can't afford to not give Ten Hag the time he needs. Like, unless you discover that Ten Hag is just not that guy and he's not a good manager, which seems unlikely based on his pedigree and like where he's been and his success with Ajax. I mean, like, you can't not give the man time. And like, I understand that football is a fast-paced world, especially today. And if you look at managers managers get fired for almost nothing these days, but if Manchester United want to get back to where they feel like they belong, they're going to have to commit to someone and commit to an identity, because you can't continue to churn through managers every 18 to 36 months and expect to have any kind of level of success, any kind of larger success. It's just not going to happen.
I mean, look, to speaking to his pedigree, I mean, you could say what you want about Ajax's strategy and the players he had. In today's market, this was 2019 or 18. He took Ajax to a Champions League semifinal. And Ajax
not
traditionally,
one player is still at Ajax from there.
yeah. Like let's be honest with what just happened. Like this, like Ajax is a titan of a club as a name.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
they play in the Dutch league. They don't have the money to compete with PSG and City and, well, I was going to say Barcelona, but that's a different can of worms. But
Barcelona,
they don't have the
Barcelona
money to do.
They made 650 million euros last month alone, so they're clearly an economic juggernaut. Just saying.
Yeah. Anyways,
I didn't mean to.
They don't have the money to compete with those folks. To make as recent as 3 or 4 years ago, to make a Champions League semifinal is very, very, very impressive.
Agreed. So
and should have won. Let's be honest, because there was a miracle at Amsterdam. That happened. There's a shirt about it.
I definitely see your point, Sean, about making sure that you don't actually want to keep that locker room. You want to get rid of a lot of those players, and you want to flip the squad. Totally see that. And
didn't they just drop like 6 or 7? Sorry, continue.
Players that left: Matic, Mata, Pogba. Those are the only players that
Lingard.
Lingard, of course.
Greenwood.
Well, Greenwood's technically still employed. Technically, legally. I
really thought
there's more.
I've never been. We don't got to get down this path, I guess. I've never been a Luke Shaw fan. Yeah. I thought they should have been playing Alex Telles the entire time. Even I don't think he's as good as Luke Shaw, like raw talent to raw talent. But I just don't like Luke Shaw. I don't know if he just doesn't put in effort, or if he tries half-ass. If he does it like half the time, half he's taken off. I can't put my finger on why he's not good. Why are they not in the running for Cucurella?
I don't know. That's a good question.
They should be trying to sniff that out.
But I guess
just ship Shaw out.
Why would Cucurella want to go to Manchester United, especially if Manchester City is an option?
You've got Cavani.
Okay, yeah, Cavani left as well. My bad.
Oh yeah,
But you're 100% not going to United if City's the option.
Yeah, like I think an argument could be made, and especially like if you look at someone like Lisandro Martinez, he chose Manchester United over Arsenal. It's like I think you could make an argument for United over Arsenal. I don't personally think it's a good argument, but you could make an argument. But if Manchester United and Manchester City come calling, unless you're English and like you grew up supporting Manchester United, or like you really revered like United in the late 90s, early 1000s, I don't think that you're actively choosing United in its current iteration over Manchester United or Manchester City in their current iteration. I think you'd be wild to do that.
Yep.
Because it's not like you're getting more money at United. Yeah. Speaking of Barcelona, I want to pat you on the back, Brad, because we made this joke last week and we didn't talk about it at all. But Joel also jumped in here. He said, "I don't think you guys could afford me as a regular. You'd have to go down the Barcelona financial route to get me to sign permanently." Because we made that joke last week about how we'd have to pull some economic levers to, and we didn't plan that beforehand. So I'm really proud of us to have been able to get that joke to fly on our own. I was impressed.
Ready to go.
All right. Those are the comments from last week. Really appreciate it, guys. Thanks for sending them in. We love to talk about them. And we're always looking for kind of interesting ways to kind of fit them into the podcast. And we would love to hear from you. So if you have any thoughts coming up about what we're about to talk about now, send them to us. Twitter, YouTube, whatever. We'd love to hear from you. Text it to us if you know us personally, and we'll put it on the podcast. So let's get into some friendly results. We're gonna kick it off because since we ghosted Sean last week and told him not to show up, we're gonna give him the floor and let him kind of walk us through what Spurs have been up to. They were in East Asia. I think they went to Korea, and now they're back. They were just in Scotland for a little bit, and now they're I guess they're back in England. I don't know. Seems like they brought a cup home with them to White Hart Lane. You gonna give us any more context on that, Sean?
Sure. I was literally trying to find the trophy name, because if I'm going to brag about it all year, I need to at least know what it is.
Is it the Walter Tull?
Walter Tull trophy. Yeah, throwing that right beside the Audi Cup.
Put it in the cabinet, baby.
No, we got
we got to stop the jokes. No more trophy jokes. It's
Dang.
2 and 2 years.
The drought is over.
The
drought is over.
The drought is over.
No, especially Rangers. That's quality opponent. Make your slights at the Scottish League. It's a decent league. That's good. That's a good team. And we got my favorite part about the game was we got. I think we rotated in. I think we flipped almost all 10 outfield players. So we got a good 20 people in front of Conte. So happy about that. When we were over in Korea, or Asia, because it was South Korea first, and then we popped over somewhere in South Asia and played Sevilla, I believe.
Okay.
Maybe India. In any rate, where we played is not non-consequential, but we played Sevilla, so that was good to see Lamela back on the field with the boys. That was a good reunion. And then I believe we're in Israel for a game against Roma as our last warm up, which will be another good test.
Ooh,
in Israel.
That's interesting.
So when is that game? Like this weekend, Saturday, and then they're jetting back to London.
Yeah, for the next weekend's games. Yeah, so they'll have a full week to prepare and get ready.
Interesting. I don't think I'd want to be traveling this last week. Like Arsenal and Chelsea were just in America, and they came back to America, I think, on Sunday. And so they'll have like 2 whole weeks in England before they're...
I think we travel too.
Where the hell are you guys going?
We're playing Udinese.
Udinese
in Udinese, Italy. We're going to Italy too.
That's dumb. I mean,
It's Friday.
I guess Italy's not that far. Italy's closer than Israel, but Israel's not. Honestly, it's not that far.
What?
It's like another 200 miles.
Listen, Israel is in the the Euros. So clearly they're both still in Europe. So it's not that bad.
It's all in Europe, buddy.
Yeah.
Check the Euros.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Check Sean geography.
Yeah. Check Sean geography. Israel is in the Euros. The women's Euro was in probably kicked out.
Which Joel, is football coming home finally? Are the women doing what the men couldn't do?
My other big takeaway: Jed Spence is big. I didn't realize. Like his pictures look small. He's probably like a solid 5'11", 6 foot, 6'1", something like that. 5'10". He's bigger than I thought. And he's good. I mean,
6'1".
6'1". Yeah, I saw him on the field. I was like, what the hell is that Sasquatch? I thought he was small.
Sasquatch.
But he looked good. If that's our right wing back of the future, I'll freaking take that. Let Doherty or Royal rock out this season. Let Spence get a year under Conte. And let him ride out next year as a 22-year-old. Yeah, I'll take that. Got Sessegnon and Spence as your young. I mean, Sessegnon's 23 now. Spence is 21.
Okay. I need to throw some out there, guys.
Okay.
A direct flight from London to Udine, Italy, where Udinese are from, is 2 hours and 5 minutes. A direct flight from from London to Israel is 5 hours and 5 minutes. So it's an extra 3 hours.
No, that's because of the curve of the Earth and the Mediterranean. You got to go around.
The Earth is flat. Don't lie.
You got to go a different route that way because of the Ukrainian war. So
You
it's a
should-
little
you should-
different.
You shouldn't make Ukrainian war jokes about Chelsea, man.
That's not a joke. They got to go around because it's a no-fly zone, so that makes it a longer trip.
All right, I just needed to point that out. And looking at a map, Israel.
Well, yeah, when you do an L instead of a straight line, yeah, of course it's longer.
Stupid. All right. I was not listening to any of your points, so I have no idea what you were talking about because I was
That was
laser.
very valid points. Please comment in the chats about how valid my points are.
I was laser focused on these flights. What are we talking
He probably actually looked up the prices of these flights too.
Yeah, it was.
Sean was giving us a Spurs update. Sean, besides Spence being a Sasquatch, what else?
Yes.
What else did you see out there?
I remember the Sasquatch comment.
No, I just talked about how good it's going to be with Spence and Sessegnon if they keep progressing under Conte, because that's 23 right now and 21.
How has Perisic looked?
I didn't catch the whole game, so I only caught. What I caught was mostly seemed like highlights, and they were from the second half. So Spence was in, and Sessegnon was in, and yeah, a lot of the flip over the backside of the roster. Yeah, and Lenglet, am I pronouncing that right? I gotta hear it said. Lenglet. He had a really good long ball, which is what he was kind of known for, is like a good passing center back out of a back three.
Okay.
And that's really what I think was scouted the hardest, of like, all right, this guy's going to be a good distributor out of the back. He had a really good, probably 50, 60-yard pass up to the top that landed at some feet, which was good. Nothing material. It didn't result in a goal or anything, but it's those types of things you're looking for in the preseason of like, okay, if he can pull that out in a Premier League game, that's what we're looking for. So, yeah, I think the back three square. I think I've got my starting 11. I think the back three squared away. I think Romero, Dyer, Lenglet across the back. I think Sessegnon and whoever's left of Royal or Doherty. And then Spence probably can. It seems like he's going to work his way in pretty quick. He looked good, like honestly, like looked natural. He doesn't look intimidated. Of course, it's preseason. It could all change against Southampton. Who knows if he gets time? His first Premier League game, he could. It could. Everything could change when the lights are on, and when a strong. What's the saying? When a strong wind breezes up in Stoke, even though they're not up there, but. In a cold night in Stoke.
Yeah.
Everything could change in the Premier League, but he looks not intimidated. He looks fine, which is important. After you live through the Soldado era at Tottenham, that not looking intimidated is important when I evaluate new signings.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so those two, I'm probably going Basoma and Højbjerg, although that's really hard between those two and Bentaker. Yeah, that's gonna be my, as a fan, I'm gonna wrestle with all year, because Højbjerg's been our engine for 3 years. Bentaker, it was a tangible, visible
improvement
change when he was planted right beside him. And then Basoma's just a really, really good player. So, like, do you want to just sit him on the bench, or do you want to give him some time? And then which one do you bench?
There
and
will
then
be
the front
plenty
three
of games.
settle.
Yeah, there will be plenty of games for you guys to get everyone in.
And play with them, and then it'll be very curious in the second week of the season what 11 gets picked. Because I bet Conte's a little slick sucker. I don't think he's going to play his top 11 for Southampton, knowing Arsenal's coming the next week.
Wait, we're
Arsenal?
North London Derby's the second week.
No, it's Chelsea.
Oh, Chelsea. Sorry. Either way, same. My statement remains the same. I don't think he's playing his starting 11 against Southampton. Honestly.
Why? When there's no midweek game? Yes, you are.
Yeah, I think you play your fittest, strongest 11.
Both games.
Both games, yeah.
I think he's got some
cards
up his sleeve. I think he's throwing old Tommy Tukes a curveball.
I mean, because
it's like, look at this start. Look at this 11.
The first 3 weeks, there's no midweek games.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I think I think he's got a little curveball. If I was him, I would. I'd throw Tuke some curveball, not even bring on a couple of players that I'm planning on playing the next week.
I think that's
And
wild.
tell them ahead of time.
I think you're
Overthinking it.
Yeah, I think you're doing the Tottenham thing here.
I
Get
don't
the
think
bottles
so.
out. Let's get those
I
bottles
don't,
out.
no, I don't think so. I don't think so, baby.
Well, I guess we'll see. Brad, how's give us the Chelsea rundown? What's been going on with the with Chelsea?
Yeah. So, those economic levers got pulled, and Barcelona are buying players they can't register, so that'll be fun for them. But we had an awesome, fun game at Charlotte that I clearly went to because I have all of the merch. We lost in penalties because nobody's shocked.
Timeout.
We've lost 3 in a row now.
Timeout.
I'll get to how we got the penalties.
We need to talk about those penalties real quick because someone who you are really hype about took the worst penalty I have ever seen in my entire life.
How did I describe it, James?
So Conor Gallagher steps up, and I don't know if he did like a Jorginho hop, but it was the softest. He just he slowly saunters up to the ball and kicks,
and passes it to the goalie.
Yeah, just straight down the middle of the goal, directly at the goalkeeper. He's expecting the goalkeeper to dive a direction, and he kicks it so softly that the goalkeeper could have dove a direction, stood up, walked back to where he was, and picked up the ball before it went in the net. It was so bad.
Could you see how much but throughout the whole game, Chelsea did not care, and that carried over to the Arsenal game where we did not care again.
How is that acceptable though?
It's definitely not. And I don't know if you saw Tuchel's press conference after, but he lit into everybody. He was like, well, I don't know what you guys expect. It's the same players playing the same roles. Of course we didn't score goals. So
you guys ever see The Big Green when we were young?
Yeah.
It was a soccer movie when we were little.
No, I've never seen
it. I think the GOAT in Big Green could have kicked the ball harder than Conor Gallagher.
100%. Conor Gallagher just tapped it. It's like, oh.
He went for a Pirlo and ended up looking like the GOAT from Big Green. Yeah.
He went for the Pirlo and ended up looking like a zero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He went for the Pirlo Panenka.
It was terrible.
But I will say this, the atmosphere at the Charlotte game was phenomenal.
Here we go.
Charlotte is becoming an awesome soccer town. I don't know why he's mad about that.
Sean just has to walk away.
It was fun being there, and people caring about soccer was awesome. Now, granted, I think Joel and I counted 30 other teams' jerseys.
Okay, I mean that.
But there were ones that you wouldn't expect, like Sunderland, Brighton. We saw almost every single Premier League club. We saw some random Italian clubs, German clubs. So, but the majority were Charlotte FC jerseys
or Chelsea jerseys. Or Chelsea jerseys.
It
was probably predominantly
the majority
Chelsea.
was still Charlotte.
Really?
Still Charlotte. Yeah.
Okay. So
Charlotte FC had a huge contingent.
Good. That's good for Charlotte.
Oh yeah. Well, they're averaging 32,000 some odd fans a game. So
dang,
at home.
Maybe you should have paid that seat licensing fee so you could have had a seat, bro.
Yeah. Oh well. But yeah, and then we went down to Orlando and again gave $0.
Yeah, so this is
absolutely nothing. There was one team playing the game and the other one was just giving them the ball back. Okay, cool. Until Koulibaly came on for the last 20 minutes. I think Koulibaly was beast moding everything.
But then
that made me excited.
I think we still scored 2 goals with Koulibaly on the pitch. Now, granted, the Saka goal was 100% offside.
It was one, I think. Yes, it was. He was so far offside. If you switch Saka for Timo Werner, that's offsides.
It doesn't. Well, I don't know, but I remember messaging you guys because I was watching the game. I was like, man, this ref is trash.
It was absolute garbage.
They were really bad. But I guess before we get into the Arsenal Chelsea game specifically, so yeah, I did see Thomas's comments about the match and about the tour and everything like that. Does that give you any concern about the upcoming league season? Are you concerned at all about the upcoming league season? So Chelsea have yet to buy the players, with the exception of Sterling. With the exception of Sterling, they really haven't gotten any of the players that they were looking for. And
I think Koulibaly was on the list.
certainly.
So I think Koulibaly and Sterling are both players. Sterling is clearly the player we wanted. Number
Yes.
one choice out the bag. I think Koulibaly, I think we are more happy than not happy. Like Koulibaly doesn't feel like a consolation prize at center back. Koulibaly feels like a great center back signing.
Yeah, because the talk about Chelsea was that you guys wanted to sign 3 center backs, and you guys have been in for De Ligt, you guys have been in for Ake, you've been in for Koundé, and
I wonder how much we were actually in for De Ligt as a conversation, just so the manager could get him to Bayern, or his agent could get him to Bayern. Because from the very beginning, like when he was at Ajax, there were talk of him coming to the Premier League then for De Ligt, but his management team doesn't want him there because he thinks they'll be exposed. He'll be exposed. So I think we were the smokescreen.
it's possible, but you guys would have taken him in a heartbeat.
Oh, of course, 100%.
So regardless of whether De Ligt would have actually signed for Chelsea or not is kind of irrelevant. Chelsea wanted to sign De Ligt.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. Rafinha, Koundé, now we can add to that list. That we're just like, I don't understand. I don't understand if you're Sevilla, and Sevilla is like one of the tougher negotiating teams, right? You got 55 million pounds, or you get 50 million euros.
Well,
which one are you taking?
Regardless of the amount of money, the problem is that if Koundé is saying I'm not going to sign for Chelsea, in the same way that Leeds with Leeds and Rafinha, with Rafinha saying I'm not going to sign for Chelsea, I'm only going to sign for Barcelona. If Koundé is going to his management and saying I'm not signing for Chelsea, I only want to go to Barcelona, would Sevilla, who also have money issues, who also need to balance their books, would they rather have a disgruntled Koundé or get 50 million from Barcelona?
They had a disgruntled Koundé this whole season because he wanted to come to Chelsea last year.
Yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily true or not. This is the problem with it's kind of like the Yuri Tielemans thing with Arsenal, is that like there's probably some conversation is like, yeah, we could get this done, and the player gets their hopes up, and then the club never, like Chelsea clearly never went out of their way to try and sign Koundé. Because if they had last year, they would have signed him, I feel like. And I
think there's like 5. Well, no, I think what happened was, okay, hey, listen, we're going to sell Zuma, then we're coming back with this offer. And Sevilla was like, cool. Then we sold Zuma and came back with that offer, and Sevilla was like, no, we need 10 mil more.
The thing, though, is with Chelsea, if Chelsea really wanted to sign a player, they would have no issues. Like, they could sign a player. Especially a year ago with Abramovich.
I was going to say, especially a year ago.
So
true. But so, I mean, it's felt frustrating. But we'll see at the end. I'm still happy with Sterling and Koulibaly. Like, Sterling's an awesome signing, and it gives a different attack option. But I don't think it's enough.
Are you concerned at all about going into the league? Because I
guess we'll see the table.
I asked you 3 weeks ago. If Chelsea made no more signings, would you said that you guys were going to win the league? That's what you said 3 weeks ago.
I guess we'll see my table.
Okay, all right, that's a good way to leave it. Quick rundown on Arsenal. I'm super happy with Arsenal's preseason so far. We of course have been in America we were in America for like 2 weeks. Played 3 matches in America. We scored 9 goals, only conceded 1. A lot of the players got a lot of playing time. Gabriel Jesus looks like he's been a really good signing. We saw Zinchenko for 45 minutes against Chelsea, and he was really good as well. And this is kind of the thing about Arsenal, and 2 of the more marquee signings that we've had this summer are Premier League proven players who know the league, and honestly, they know each other well in Jesus and Zinchenko. Is that like that's going to be, I think, 2 very good signings for Arsenal in the long run. And like we played with high level intensity, level mentality. So like we look really good right now. Now clearly in a week, when we're at Selhurst Park, we gotta make sure we carrying that intensity. But I am excited for the prospect of Arsenal.
It was made to be look like a troll headline, but it was actually a Kyle Walker quote that said that Zinchenko is technically more gifted than De Bruyne. It was made to look like a troll headline, like someone was giving that opinion, but it was a quote from Kyle Walker, and I think that can be true.
Yeah,
like he could be technically more gifted, but doesn't have the mental part of it. Isn't in the right place at the right time, like De Bruyne is.
Or
like doesn't have the feel of the game.
Is on a different part of the pitch and doesn't control the ball as much.
Exactly. Like that can be true. Like very rarely does extremely technically gifted and mentally gifted cross paths, and then that's where you end up with like a Conte or like a Pirlo or players like that you're like, how does this man always in the right position and then does the right thing with the ball every time? Like very rarely did those things intersect. So I think that statement can be true. He can be extremely technically gifted and more technically gifted than De Bruyne and not be as good a player as De Bruyne. Both things can be true.
It's funny that you said that, because Zinchenko gave an interview at Arsenal with like the and he was,
I saw that.
And the interviewer was asking, was like, yeah, so all my mates have been asking me, are Arsenal going to sign Zinchenko? And this is like an employee at the club, and he's like, I don't know anything about it. And Zinchenko pops off with, they know I'm not De Bruyne, right? Like, and so they had a laugh.
They look alike.
Yeah, well, apparently that's a meme, is that they get confused a lot, or the two of them.
They do look a lot alike, honestly.
Pretty similar, yeah. But he seems like such a character. Like Zinchenko seems like a character.
He seems fun.
He seems fun. I'm excited about him. But no, I mean, like we crushed Everton. I was at that match, so crushed Everton. Went down to Orlando, beat them soundly. No, we did give up a goal, which was kind of, I don't want to say it was against the run of play, but it was a disappointing goal to give up. But came back in the second half, scored 2 more goals, beat them 3-1, and then honestly, we demolished Chelsea. And yeah. I don't necessarily know if that was just that like Arsenal were playing. If you think about like middle of the season is 100% of your team's capability and capacity, maybe Arsenal were playing at like 85 or 90% of their like ultimate capacity, and Chelsea were playing at like 50%, because like Chelsea looked like they did not care. Looked like they could not care at all about that match. And so maybe it was just that like Arsenal were playing at such a higher level, and that's why they beat them so handily. But yeah, that was fun. But now we're back in England. I think we have a behind closed door friendly tomorrow against Brentford, and then have the Emirates Cup at the weekend against Sevilla as well. So that's going to be good. But yeah, so I think overall, we've been very happy with Arsenal's preseason. We'll see if there's any more signings. There's still lots of rumblings and things like that, but we'll see. You guys ready? Are you prepared to put things on paper now?
Let's do it.
All right.
Even on sheets, not on paper, because paper of trust and respect is wrong.
Yeah, it's just incorrect. So we've done things a little bit differently this year. So gonna give some context. The 3 of us have all made Premier League tables. We have went 1 through 20. It's shown as like a tier list, but inside those tier lists, they are ranked 1 through 20. If you read it like a book.
And we haven't looked at each other's yet.
Yes,
that's true.
We have not looked at each other's yet.
So this is we're gonna pull them up so you guys can see them. And so with this, I want to invite everyone. In the comments of all of our YouTube videos of our podcast, there's a link to our Discord server. I would love for you to jump on. We will post a link in there for the tier list maker that we made. Jump on our Discord, submit yours. We would love to hear what you guys think and see where you guys think the league is how it's gonna pan out. But without further ado, we're gonna start with Brad and take a look at Brad's league table. Brad, do you wanna run it down for us? I'm ready.
Of course.
Sean, pull Brad's up. It's on the screen. Wait, hold on. I need to change our aspect ratio for the video. That looks better. Now you can go, Brad.
All right. So, James, as you asked me earlier, do I think that Chelsea's going to be just fine? Of course I do. We're winning the championship. Crazy. Tier 1, Tier S, champions. Here we go, Chelsea. Following that, I have Liverpool 2nd, City 3rd, Arsenal 4th. Because, look, this is how I look at it, right? We got Pepsi, which is Arsenal. We got Coke, that's Tottenham, right? Every year, a different one has to bottle it. So I got Arsenal coming in 4th this year. So Tottenham bottles away 4th, and they finish 5th.
Time out.
West Ham.
Time out. Both Pepsi and Coke are always served in bottles unless they're in cans. So like saying that one bottles it one year and the other doesn't bottle it the other. That doesn't make any sense, Brad.
I mean, y'all both can bottle it, and I can put West Ham up there. Y'all want that?
No, continue. So
West Ham.
Fifth, you have Spurs.
Fifth is Spurs. West Ham is sixth. This was my debate. So this is why on the tier list you see 7, 8. Because like Leicester hasn't made any moves at all. United has Ten Hag, and they've made a few signings. So I think I'm going to say United is 7, getting European football. Leicester will be 8th. Wolves 9th. Crystal Palace 10th. Villa 11th. And to finish up that mid-table pack would be Newcastle. Then my other crush, Brentford, 13th. Leeds I have gaining a lot here. I really like a couple of their signings, like Adams replacing what they lost in the middle. So I like that. Brighton Hove, Southampton, Nottingham Forest I have as the club staying up.
Yeah.
I have Nottingham Forest staying up as one of the 3 because there's always one of the 3 that always impresses and somehow stays up. That's Nottingham Forest.
They've also spent a boatload of money this summer. So like
they've overhauled their roster. I think they have a whole new starting 11 essentially.
they're about to sign Aaron Ramsey apparently as well. So
yeah, and I mean Lingard, Dean Henderson, and Ramsey, you're staying up. Relegation zone.
Interesting.
Everton is going down.
Interesting.
Fulham is also going down, and Bournemouth is going down. Caveat that they will probably have taken 4 points off of Chelsea.
Okay, so that's
why I have them 20th.
But the way you said that, no, you have Fulham 20th and Bournemouth 19th.
Do I? My bad. I may have messed that up. My fault. That's why, because they're getting 4 points on Chelsea. That's why I have them above Fulham.
Okay. All right. That's interesting. So
and Fulham is going down because Norwich is coming up, so Fulham has to go down.
You're really doubling down on Chelsea at this point. Like,
what did you expect? What did anybody expect here?
Hold on. So I got flamed last year for picking Arsenal to win the league. And in hindsight, that was a terrible pick. But at the time, I was looking at Arsenal. I was really hyped for our signings, and we didn't have any European football to worry about. And so I was like, I think that Liverpool and City are going to regress a little bit, and they're not going to be as outlandishly good as they were a year ago. And I was wrong on all those points. But
Brad, do you remember when he told us they were going to have 113 points?
Okay,
yes, I do. They're going to be Centurions. I remember he's like,
that.
I'm looking at this and I see 100 points.
Not just 100 points, 113. I remember it specifically.
I did not say that we would drop 1 point in the league.
113 points is how much points you claimed you would have at the end of the season.
No, I did not. I categorically refuse that I ever said that last year. Okay. But I don't. There's no. Chelsea would need a lot of signings between now and the
why?
end because
we need healthiness. You guys are forgetting that we were missing 2/5 of our defense last year.
Yeah,
for most of it, and then also we were missing 2/5 of our attack from last year too. We were missing our two most important players to Tuchel's system. The best left back in England, and the best right back in England in the world.
Okay, how close is Chilwell to being fit?
He's back. He will be match fit week 1.
He'll be match fit week 1.
Yep.
So he's in training now.
Yeah, he's been in training this whole summer.
He went to America.
He played in America.
Who did he play against?
All 3 teams.
He played in the Arsenal game? I missed that.
Yes.
He must not have made an impact.
No, he didn't really play. He was on the field.
I don't know. It seems to me, I don't know. You'll see now because I don't agree with you. Flipping over to mine. I think Manchester City's going to win it. I think Liverpool is going to finish second. I think Arsenal is going to finish third. I think Tottenham are going to finish fourth. I think that Arsenal and Tottenham have both improved dramatically over their teams last year. I think Chelsea are going to finish fifth. I think Leicester are going to finish sixth. Let me explain why I think Chelsea are going to finish fifth. I think Chelsea need a lot. I still think that they need a lot of players. I think it's going to take a while for those players that they will inevitably sign to fully mesh into this team. I don't know if Chelsea will be able to offload all of the players that they need to offload, which it seems like are a lot of them. And I worry about how long it's going to take them to really get going. Now, I do think Chelsea will be a force to reckon with in the second half of the season. I think that Chelsea is going to be really, really hard to play after the World Cup in January, February, and on. But I think before then, I think that there's going to be something missing at Chelsea. I have Manchester United finishing 7th. I think that they just have enough. I think they have enough quality in their team to finish 7th. West Ham just misses out on European football. They finish 8th. Though I guess they could take the Conference League spot if they win the FA Cup, but we'll get to that later on. We should add that to the list. Who we think is going to win the FA Cup for the sheets of integrity. Newcastle, I have 9th. I have Newcastle finishing in the top half. Crystal Palace 10th. Brighton and Hove 11th, and Wolves are finishing 12th. 13th is Aston Villa. Brentford is going to be 14th. 15th is Nottingham Forest. Everton I have at 16th. Leeds I have at 17th. And getting relegated, I have Southampton, Fulham, and Bournemouth. I do think Bournemouth is going to finish 20th. I don't think that they have. I don't think that they're going to have a good season. I don't think it's going to be as bad as West Brom 2 years ago, because West Brom 2 years ago were dreadful. But I think that they're not going to amass many points. I think Bournemouth get relegated in the range of like 15 to 20 points, something like that. So not like historically all time bad, but still very, very bad. Yeah.
I just hate their logo, that it just looks like a woman showering
with a football on her forehead.
Yeah.
It is kind of a strange crest.
Balancing the ball. I don't know. I just picture somebody, like, it just looks like someone's showering.
It's a strange crest.
It is very strange.
You guys have any gripes, any concerns?
Yeah. The Spurs are not finishing behind Arsenal.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
No.
I think Arsenal have made significantly better signings than Spurs have.
You think Arteta's hair is going to save you?
I think Arteta's tactics are going to save us, and his drive are going to save us, and our players.
So, all right. So I will say this because I think I've said this the whole time. Spurs improved their bench. Arsenal improved their starting 11.
Arsenal would have finished above Spurs this year if we didn't absolutely poop the bed 3 weeks in a row and drop against Brighton, Crystal Palace, and I forget who the third team was. 3 weeks in a row, we dropped 9 straight points, and then losing to Newcastle away. No, it wasn't Spurs, because we lost those 3 matches and then won 4 in a row. It was the United. We beat United, we beat Chelsea, some other teams right in a row, and then we lost to Spurs. But we would have finished above Spurs this last season. We should have, if it weren't for the fact that we had some inexcusably poor performances at bad times.
You're forgetting that, like, the week before you guys dropped 3 points to Brighton, we also lost to Brighton.
Yeah,
like, it wasn't just you guys. Like, we were right with you.
No, but if you look at that like in totality, like, that's a game Arsenal should have won. We shouldn't have lost to Everton at Goodison Park. We were kind of, I don't want to say we were cheated out of 3 points there, but it was definitely a bad match. And the refereeing was horrible. But, like, I don't think it's an outlandish claim for me to say that I think Arsenal are going to finish above Spurs this year. And
I don't think that you guys have improved
as a
enough.
Caveat. How?
You signed a center attacking mid that is probably not going to play.
You're so hung up on Fabio Vieira. Like, everything that
was such a useless signing.
You said the same thing 2 years ago about Martin Odegaard when we got him on loan from Madrid. Both of you guys said, he's not
so useless.
I said I didn't understand Odegaard when you had Smith Rowe, and Smith Rowe was supposed to be like...
Yeah, so now you've got both of them, and you sign another one.
Okay.
Anyways.
So we signed a center.
I'll give you it. Jesus is a good signing. That is exactly what you needed, and he is a finisher. That is exactly what you need. Put balls in. He figures out a way to put them in the back of the net. That is a good signing. That's what you thought you were getting out of Lacazette and Aubameyang. Well, Aubameyang had one good season, but I'll poop on Lacazette. That's what you thought you were getting out of Lacazette. Well, actually, no, that's what you thought you were getting out of Aubameyang. He had one good season, and then he fell off. But like as a center forward, he had one good season. He kind of tied 3-way for a golden boot. It wasn't that great of a season.
Wow.
Okay.
And I think the tie was at 19, so it wasn't even a good season for any of those people.
True. Yeah.
No, I think it was actually at 21. But it was still low for a golden boot, honestly.
I mean, Son won it with 21 last year, I think.
So that's low.
No, I thought it was 22 or 23.
I mean,
it also still low. Normally, it's in the mid 20s or high 20s.
Anyway, but I'm just flabbergasted that you.
And then what else? What else you got? What else you got coming around there?
William Saliba is back on loan. He looks like a force to be reckoned with.
Where are you going to play Zinchenko?
On the left
or in the midfield?
In midfield.
He plays center mid for Ukraine.
He could play in the Xhaka role in our midfield. Xhaka has looked really, really good in preseason, bro. So I don't know. I think that you are underestimating.
You just kicking Tierney to the corner?
No, we're not. But the thing is, Tierney is injured right now, so he's not going to be match fit by the beginning of the season, and he has a terrible track record with injuries. I love Kieran Tierney. He is one of my favorite Arsenal players. But he hasn't played a lot for us over the last 2 years. And this is a problem. Is that he's?
That's the only reason I was happy. When I saw Zinchenko was confirmed, I was like, "That's a really good signing for Arsenal because he can play left back."
You're such a troll. Such a troll.
Yeah, he can play left back. He can even play left mid. So when Tierney's fit, he can still play, and when Tierney's gone, he can play left back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trolling on Zinchenko. Right. Zinchenko's a good signing.
Let's look at your table, Sean. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
You ready to talk about it? 3, 2,
yeah, let me
1. You're out. Oh my gosh! Is he serious, Sean?
He called this last year too. He's gonna call this every single year and then it's gonna be Sean Stradamus.
Okay.
Sean Stradamus was most right last year.
Yo, you're about to be so wrong with your champions pick. Sean has picked Tottenham Hotspurs to win the league. Okay. You have the floor, Sean. Take it away, man. Oh my god.
Conte.
You got more ridiculous than me. That's impressive.
Wow, look at this table. Okay, go down the list, bro. 1 to 20. Let's hear it.
All right. So, champions of the league, Tottenham Hotspur. Finishing second, Liverpool. City third. Arsenal fourth. Congratulations. Welcome to the Champions League.
I would like to point out that all of us have Arsenal in the top 4 this year. I'm just saying.
Fair. In the Europa spots, we've got Leicester and West Ham. Welcome back to West Ham. Welcome back into Leicester. Meltdown year, second year in a row. Chelsea finishing 8th.
Oh, you have him 7th. You have him 7th.
You have
7th. So welcome to the Conference League. Oh yeah, I guess this could have been up here.
It's okay.
All right. Anyway, I can't move it now. Newcastle finishing 8th. United finishing 9th. Rounding out the top 10, Crystal Palace. Aston Villa in 11th. Wolves in 12th. I think we almost all 3 of us had Wolves in 12th.
I think I mean, I have to go back and look, but I think you might be right.
I know James did for sure.
I did.
Bottom half, we go 13 to 17. We've got 13th, Brighton Hove, Brentford in 14th. Fulham, I think, had a very strong team last year. Strong enough. Their striker that scored a bajillion goals down there. His name's eluding me right now. Mitrovic. I think he's a Premier League striker. I think they're going to be okay on attack. Can they defend? I don't know. I don't know enough about Fulham and Championship soccer to know that. And then I agree with you guys. I think Nottingham is staying up just by the fact that they flipped their entire roster and the amount of people they've come in. And chiefly among those, Dean Henderson, which I was championing to go to Newcastle. He alone is probably enough to keep them up. And now they've got a couple people that can help score goals. And Southampton is the last one up we all three have Everton being relegated. I have Leeds going down. Losing Rafinha and Calvin Phillips, your two best players, is a big loss. I think they're going to finish 19th, and Bournemouth, I agree with you guys, is going to get absolutely destroyed.
I'd like to point out that I do not have Everton going down.
Oh, I thought we all
I do.
did.
Nope.
I have
I do.
I have,
You and I do.
I have Southampton, Fulham, and Bournemouth going down.
Gotcha. I can see that now that I'm looking at the sheets.
Yeah.
What?
So did you get those down on the sheets, on the note card sheets of integrity?
The notes of integrity are taken.
All right.
Hey, Sean, I got one.
Yeah.
I got a comment here for you.
Yeah.
Last time Fulham was in the Prem, Mitrovic was the starting striker. He scored 3 goals.
So it was also 2 years ago. I can count. Because they go up and down every 2 years.
Okay. So 2 years before that, he scored 11.
It'll be fine.
That's a fair point. It's a fair point.
It'll be fine.
So what we're going to do, we have our list now. What we're doing this year is we are going to, this is something that I saw on a different soccer podcast. Oh, I'm on the wrong screen. Hold on. Oh gosh, sorry guys. So what we're doing, apologies if you are confused about where we just went. I just had a technical snafu, as they say. But at the end of the season, we're going to tally up where everyone finishes. So for example, I have Manchester City finishing first. If Manchester City finished first, I get 0 points for that. If they finished 20th, I would accumulate 20 points for it. The goal is to have the lowest score possible. So you take whatever team wherever the team is, the position you predicted, and you get points for how far away they are from the position they actually finished in to what you predicted. And so
for example,
yeah,
since Sean Stradamus was the most right last year, my top 4 last year.
What was your top 4 last year? What was it?
I got one really wrong. Liverpool, City, United, Spurs.
Okay, so you would have gotten 1 point
Would
for
have gotten
City,
4 points.
1 point for
3
City
points.
and Liverpool.
I would have gotten 3 points.
Tottenham was spot on, so you would have gotten 0 points. But United finished in
6th, right?
6th. So you would have gotten.
So that's 3 points. So I would have gotten 4 points there. For
points.
example,
you got 6 points. No, you would have gotten 5. You would have gotten 5 points total because you got 1 each for Liverpool and United, or you Liverpool.
We
and
all
City.
did the Sean math there. Because I
get one for each for City and Liverpool
correct.
being out of position. Gotcha. Yep,
Yeah,
you're right.
They were both one position different than what you predicted.
Yeah.
So
for example, that would have gotten you 5 points.
Yeah. So what I want you guys to do, if you're listening, I want you guys to, we're going to drop a link in our Discord to the table maker. We'll also put it in the comments of the video and things like that. Make a table list and copy the image and put it in our Discord. And I don't know how we're going to incentivize you if you win at the end of this year, if you accumulate the least number of points, but we'll do something. It'll be fun.
Just for shits and giggles, you want to see who wins from last year from just our top 4? So let's run the math on James. Arsenal first, City second,
1,
Liverpool
4,
third,
5, 6. Oh.
Leicester.
Okay, I got 1,000 points.
No. Leicester finished 8th, so that's 4.
I got 10 points.
10 points. Okay. And then Brad had Chelsea 1.
That's 2 points.
City 2.
That's 1, so 3.
Liverpool 3.
That's 4 points total.
United 4th.
No, that's only 1 point. Yeah, 4 points.
8 points total. Because United finished 8th? No,
So
United finished 6th. No, Brad would have had 6 points. Brad would have had 6 points. Sean would have had 5. I would have had 10.
I would have won still.
Yep. Sean would have won last year if we just went off top 4. Last year we didn't do the entire table. I would have also gotten murdered on Brighton and Hove staying up because Brighton and Hove finished whatever they finished, 12th or something.
It's 9th or something.
I had them relegated, so I would have gotten murdered there. Apparently, if you get a score in the 60s, you're doing really well. That's apparently what was told to me on the Fozcast when I listened to it. Quickly, we need to do Golden Boot and Golden Glove. So, Brad, who do you have winning the Golden Boot this year?
Salah.
Mo Salah. Okay. Sean, who do you have winning the Golden Boot?
Harry Kane.
I'm taking Erling Haaland. Close second is going to be Raheem Sterling, though. I'm going to throw that out there. I think Erling Haaland's going to win the boot, and
I was thinking about putting Sterling.
I think Sterling's going to be
Sterling was
second.
my second. Was why I was hesitating.
All right, Golden Glove.
I think Holland's going to score a lot of goals. Just honest. I think Jesus is going to score a lot of goals too. I just don't know if it's going to be Golden Boot worthy.
Yeah,
I would, if I were a betting man, and they said the plus or minus on Jesus' goals was like 15 or 16, I would take the over.
Same. I mean,
Probably.
I don't think it's going to be that low though. If you looked at it,
I wonder what the odds are for Haaland winning the Golden Boot. I wonder if it's worth
Probably
putting 100 on.
If they're really,
not.
really good odds, and like you're getting 7, 8, or more to 1, I'd put 10 spot on that.
So this is also if you're a gambling website, don't contact us for sponsorships. You guys can y'all can get bankrupted. I don't like you guys. Degenerates. All
no. You can still email us at info.
Yes.
redcardradio@gmail.com. I'm the one that runs the email account. He won't know it. We'll put sponsorships in here. It'll be fine.
Absolutely. I'll start talking about odds every week.
Nope.
DraftKings. We want some Bowley money. I don't know what you're talking about. I want some Bowley money.
Degenerate. It's bad for people. Ruins
There's
people's
free
lives.
gambling on there. It's fine.
There's no such thing as free gambling.
Being an Arsenal fan ruins people's lives.
Yes, but that doesn't cost
Who's winning the Golden Glove, boys?
Yeah, who's winning the Golden Glove, Brad?
What is the criteria? Is it just least goals or most
shutouts?
Clean sheets.
Clean sheets.
Shutouts.
Mendy.
Do you guys even watch football? It's the most clean sheets. Brad is a homer. He's taking Mendy. It's Eduardo Mendy and like the one center back that they have on at Chelsea. Interesting. Sean, who's winning the Golden Glove for you? Better be Lloris if you picked Spurs to win the league.
No, it's not, because he knows he messed up by picking Spurs to win the league.
Yeah, I definitely did. I didn't know we were going to play this game until after I already sent the picture in.
We made jokes last year because Sean didn't pick his team to win.
Yeah, I picked my
and
team
so
to finish fourth.
so he felt.
I actually did it realistic. Yeah, I needed to overcorrect
that. Yeah,
I might need to redo it for the game.
Nope. It's locked. They're on the sheets of integrity. You can't
on the sheets of integrity. You can't change the sheets of integrity.
That is true. I've already written down my top 4 on the sheets of integrity, so that's locked. Otherwise, it wouldn't be the sheets of integrity. It'd be the sheets of unintegrity, and we don't do that around here.
We just have to.
Right. Who's your goalie?
Man, I tell you, I'm not gonna pick it. But what came straight to my tongue was Dean Henderson.
You're smoking the largest sack of crack.
Dude.
Put it down. But all right, Henderson, I'm putting it down.
No. Who are you taking? Who are you taking, Sean?
It's good. It's gonna be Allison.
Okay, Allison. I'm just gonna take the easy pick.
Who won it this year, by the way? Who won it this past year?
Ederson,
no one even knows.
Ederson, I think Ederson won it.
Yeah, no one cares about the goalkeeper, so I don't even know why we're doing this.
Allison and Ederson.
Oh, they're tied. I'm taking Ederson.
Safe bet.
Well, I also picked City to win the league, so I think.
All right.
So
our Golden Glove.
All 3 of my picks are my league winners. Just saying.
So our Golden Glove was I saw a picture, and it was start, bench, sell, and it was Mendy, Ederson, Allison.
I'd sell Ederson.
100%.
I'd sell Mendy because he's the youngest, and you're gonna have the biggest selling.
Mendy's like 31, 32, bro. I think you're wrong.
Is this a Jesse Lingard moment? I thought he was like 26.
No. I went to buy him in FIFA 20, and he was like 30 years old already.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'd have to.
He's 30 years old.
I'm starting Allison,
benching
Mendy, and selling Ederson.
Probably fair. That's all we're gonna do today. Right?
The sheets.
I think so. We do have an announcement though.
We do have an announcement. Yeah. So, loyal listeners, people who have been with us for the last 18 months, 2 years almost.
Yeah.
we are going to make a slight change to the format of Red Card Radio if you're still listening. And maybe we will clip this and put this on our YouTube, but we're making a slight change to the format of Red Card Radio. It's still going to be essentially all the same content, but we're going to split it up and release it in 3 separate instances. So we're going to have dropping, and bear with us because the timeline is slightly flexible as we're slightly flexible. But the first video of the week is going to be a recap review episode. It's going to kind of review what happened previously. It's essentially, we're going to talk about the games that just happened. On the second episode of the week, it's going to be a news episode, any kind of interesting news. And this is going to be the more global situation. We'll talk about European news if it's interesting, about football, managers getting sacked, something interesting happens in Spain or in Germany. We'll talk about it there. And then the final video that we'll drop, or podcast that we'll drop for you, will be a preview episode of the upcoming slate of games. And essentially, we're trying to make things a little bit more digestible for people. We find in long format podcasts, long format videos on YouTube and podcasts don't do particularly well unless you're an established person. And in all honesty, we're 3 bozos from Virginia, so why would anyone listen to us? But
still do listen to us.
Yeah, and share it with your mother because
yes,
that's important. But we're trying to hit the 20 to 25 minute category, shorter, a little bit more concise. But 3 separate things. So you will get more, if you have our notifications on, you will get harassed by us more. But I think it's going to be we think it's going to be more digestible for people. But this is a fluid situation. So feel free to give us your feedback. If you hate it, if you still want a long format podcast because you listen to it in your commute to work or something like that, and you don't want to fumble with your phone switching episodes, let us know, and it's something that we can certainly explore. But at least for the next couple months, this is probably going to be the format that we go with. And so, yeah, that's it. That's the announcement. That's what we're doing. We kind of we mentioned it last week. We alluded to it last week, and this week we're finally announcing it. Are you laughing at my gesticulations, Sean? Because I was moving all over the place while I was talking.
Oh, I'm just celebrating too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. We're excited. You guys get to see us more often than just once a week. This is gonna be very interesting.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
You know what this means?
What does it mean?
You could have 3 times the mild inconvenience if you don't like, subscribe, rate, and review all 3 videos. So
I guess that means if you're new here and you haven't done that yet, you need to do it now. Hit us with a follow, hit us with a like, subscribe, share it with a friend, share it with a brother, leave a comment in the comments, hit us up on Twitter. As always, that's at KSBradG. Down below, that's at Whiteheart_Sean. I am at James Tiffany, and we collectively, if you want to get us collectively, are at RedCard_Radio. We'd love to hear from you in the week, so we can talk about what's going on next week. Because guess what, guys? Next week we have to preview Premier League football. Yo, it's back, baby. Let's go.
Football is back.
We're almost there, boys. But until next time, we'll see you guys soon. Thanks for listening.